All right. Is everyone here? Ants.
Yes, sir!
Roaches.
Yeah, what of it?
Rodents.
Let's get this cheese!
All right. Come on, everyone. Settle down, please. Look, we all know why we're here. We'll be eating like queens when we're through with this. That pantry's finally ours. Nobody can stop us now. Charge! No, there's no way. It can't be. It's Old Colony! Old Colony Pest Control. Veteran-owned Massachusetts, Rhode Island-based operation with everything you could dream of for your pest needs. Equipped with top-of-the-line gear to guarantee your home is protected and staying healthy. Phone number is 774-400-5993. Give them a call for the backup you need. Tell them that General Red Revere sent you. They handle anything from ants, roaches, ticks, mosquitoes, rats, and more.
No wildlife or termites at this time.
Hey, watch it, buddy. We're marching.
A better job, a better home, a better life. Who hasn't wished for these things, worked for them, and sought a place where they had a better chance of becoming real? For generations, Brockton has welcomed those seeking something better. From those who came in search of opportunity to today's multicultural population that makes us the most diverse community in all of New England. Brockton is a place where homes are more affordable, communities closer, where a strong and talented workforce fuels the success of businesses big and small, and the vision of a more diverse and equitable America is being realized every day. It's where ideas take root, businesses grow, communities thrive, new beginnings unfold, and the promise of a better life is kept. Brockton, Massachusetts, where better begins.
It's caught in the crossfire.
Tis the season to be jolly, la 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 la. For we now are gay apparel, la 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 la. Through the ancient Yuletide carol, la 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 la.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having your phones turned off. All right, our next selection will be Carol of the Bells.
Are you serious right now?
It's important.
I'm sure it is.
Girl, that's a bell. Yes, you can tell. You're wondering if he's cheating. to the choir, he is a liar. He played you with another boo.
Where'd your holiday spirit go?
You can go activity shove that Christmas tree up your ass. I'm gone.
Listen to the choir, he is a liar. He played you with another boo.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
This is blasphemy. This is madness. This is the booth.
All right, I'm back here in the booth. I had actually turned my mic off to do some producing, and I forgot to go back in the settings, and I apologize. I'm going to see if am I going to make sure my guest is able to be heard. You want to give me a 1, 2, 3?
1, 2, 3.
Cool. So you're all set. So yeah, I forgot to unmute my mic. That was my bad. Big thanks to last week's guest. First Tuesday's Kenneth Diesenhof Robert Resnick. Tonight, I've got the Prides on with me tonight. Right now, you guys see Angela up in the corner, and her husband, Troy Sr., is going to be on with us. He's going to be joining us. They actually own the sports consulting firm called Coach with Pride Sports Consulting. But before we get into my guest and what we're going to talk about, I got to get into my sponsors. Michael Douglas Barretto, MDB Electronics. Down in the left-hand corner, you can see him. If you got a controller that floats or fades or drifts, get it out to him. 24, 48 hours. They respond. It's back at you. Limited lifetime warranty available, so you're back to gaming. Like I said, Christmas is coming up, and if you're a gamer, you want to be able to go on New Year's Day and the day after Christmas, because that's noob hunting day. Also available now, Vianna Marie's It's Personal. Her album is available now. Check it out tomorrow night. Actually, me and Vianna Marie will be at the Boston Music Awards tomorrow night at Big City Night Live. It's going to be tomorrow night. We're going to be there. So check out her album, It's Personal, available now. Scott Sandonato, who did her music video, which you guys saw before we came on the air, he's nominated for Video of the Year award for Slane's new video that was out there. You want to make sure to support him. We'll talk about that towards the end of the show. Tactical Target Systems, when I go to the range, those zombie targets you see right here, that's where I go and blow off some steam, because I have this big fear of the zombie apocalypse. And now, with some of the talk that's going on in the world and in this country, man, it may not be the zombie apocalypse I gotta get on point for. Also, ilovebostonsports.com. Check them out if you want Patriots gear, Celtics gear based on cartoons and movies. This is the guy. Marlon Williams is the guy to check out. Go down there, check him out. Angela's a big Celtics fan. I see her on there all the time with her Celtics stuff. We're going to be talking about that in the sports booth. And then Old Colony Pest Control, Kyle Bonnell, Veteran Dome, Residential and Commercial, 774-400-5993. Licensed and insured. I got a ton of people in the chat Maki Royster, BBG, what's going on in the chat? Viana Marie in the chat. David John Kendrick, all the music people are out here tonight. What's going on? David's in the chat. There's some people in the chat that aren't friends with me. I can't see them, but I'm going to shout you out anyway. Some people on YouTube. If you're on YouTube and I can't see you and it's telling me that you're putting up stuff, subscribe. Click subscribe. Please do it. Click some. Oh, we got another. We got all the music people popping up in here. Leroy Street is in the chat. Leroy Street, who took home the winning of the It Factor contest. Leroy Street. Woo, woo, woo. I got chills from his performance. This dude laid it down. He killed it. He worked his set. He destroyed everybody that night. He came, he performed, he kicked ass. And I'll tell you right now, I would pay $30, $40, $50, $60, $70 to see this brother play. That's how good of a show he put on. So Leroy Street, all you musicians out here, all you music people out there, dump it in the chat. Dump your links in the chat right now. Dump them. Leroy Street, dump your links. David John Kendrick, dump your links. All you guys, dump the links in the chat. All you music people out there, dump them in the chat right now. Because like I said, we're going to be at the Boston Music Awards tomorrow night, holding it down. So if you guys are all on here, let people know. Let people check out your music. And I see your husband, Troy, is coming on here. So we just getting the show started. I got to get him a little bit further in here. You got to squeeze in here, sir. And we're gonna before we get into the news booth, because they're gonna be on for the hour, they're gonna talk about some stuff with us. But as you guys can see here, I've got the prides on, and every time I see Angela, I met Angela through a show that I produced. Talk back with Gloria Shea. Gloria Shea, she is related to Gloria Shea, and I actually met with her for the first time. We drove out to Ohio for a play. I was able to meet Angela for the first time. But the funny thing is that I've been following Angela because she has a beautiful family. Her and her husband. I'm going to share this picture real quick before I let them get into what they do and why they're on here. But every time I hear the prides and I see these family photos, I'm going to bring this photo up for you guys. Here you go right here. Here's the photo of the prides right here. I'll show you guys, and I'm going to let them explain this moment. All I think about right now in this picture, it's a picture of you guys, your family, and I believe it's one of your sons is graduating. Who wants to talk about this picture real quick and explain it that the people are looking at? Oh, you're muted. You got to unmute. Unmute. Hold on, they're muted. Yeah, so explain to the people this picture. There's a picture here of one of your sons. It looks like he's graduating, and it's the family's there. So you guys can explain this real quick to everybody who's watching this.
Well, it's a picture from this past weekend, actually. I mean, we were lit in Greensboro. That's all I want to say about the picture. But this was our baby boy, our third college graduate, man. We were just excited. He's an engineer. Looking forward to a job that he's got lined up in January. But he graduated from the HBCU, North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University, one of the best HBCUs, actually the largest HBCU. And you know what? All I can say is Aggie pride.
And we're gonna be talking about HBCUs tonight in the sports booth because, again, I'm pissed off at our black community. I've been pissed off at our black community for the last 2 months. I've been calling people out with stuff because we just been foolish. We've been just acting a fool with ourselves against each other in the black community. And I'm going to speak on it. And I know Troy here. I'm going to speak with him on this and going to get into this. But your family is beautiful. We see in the picture here. And all I think about every time I see the prides, all I can think of is you guys getting a shot to be on Family Feud. Because I see this family, the prides, and I see Steve Harvey talking about, I got Troy Sr., I got Angela, I got Troy Jr. Come on down.
Yeah, absolutely.
One thing I will say about that, it's going to be very competitive because we're not in it to lose.
That's right. We're taking home. We winning.
You one of them families that when you come to play Family Feud, you got to be like, yeah, let's go. Good answer.
Hey, Keith, if you don't mind, let me add to that picture because I kind of briefed me on. the picture. See, a lot of times, a lot of people use the cliche, you don't know the story. You see the glory, but don't know the story. And that picture, that chance pride, it's always one. There's always one in the group that's going to give you everything, it's going to make me get balder. It's going to make her get grayer. And he was the one, but he finished and we were super excited about it, man. It was a wonderful moment, very momentous at that time.
And we're going to talk about why, before we get into my news stories and stuff like that for you guys to chime in. Well, let's get into this interview with you guys about your business and what you got going on. I'm going to let you guys each introduce yourselves because, there's a lot of things I've seen going on. And it's funny because Angela, she's been all over the place. She's been doing all these women empowerment events. And actually, Angela had put a post up with Layla Ali. And to be honest, I'm just going to keep it real. Angela, I didn't even see you in the picture. I just know you posted the picture and all I saw was Layla Ali with a crop top on, the six-pack showing, and then I was like, oh shit, Angela's right there with her. Look, I'm not...
Okay. I understood that I was next to the champ, but let me tell you something. That's going to be the only picture that you're going to see because everybody was taking all these little cliche pictures with her. I walked up to her and was like, hey, man, I want to do something different. And she was like, well, what you want to do? She was like, you know what? She came with an agenda. She came with purpose. And that's, that's what I stand for. I'm Angela Pride of the group. I'm the Mrs. Coach Pride because we're both coaches in our own right. And, so we have a business. It's CWP Sports Consulting, but the CWP does stand for Coach with Pride. And we're trying to help kids all over the world, really, because we can do our consultations via Zoom or what have you. But we really started because our market here in South Carolina is really under-recruited. There's a lot of gyms here in South Carolina that don't really get the recognition. And you know why? It's because we're right in between North Carolina and Georgia, where you've got some dogs, as far as recruiting is concerned. So we saw that, we produced a couple of athletes, that both went D1, full ride scholarships. And so basically we took our wealth of knowledge and we want to share it with parents because what we're finding is a lot of parents they're just ignorant. And ignorant isn't a bad word. They just don't know what's going on and how to get their babies noticed. And so CWP Sports Consulting, that's what we're doing. We're trying to educate the parents as well as the athletes, putting them in position to get recruited. Because there are some things that you got to do before a coach is even going to call you, before they're going to tweet you, before they're going to knock on your door. And basically, that's what we're doing. We're basically educating them. We're empowering them to be in charge of the recruitment, et cetera, et cetera. So that's it in a nutshell.
And there's a right way and a wrong way, because I see it here because in Massachusetts, it's, look, and people who are watching, they from, you heard where they're from. They headed down south in Georgia and all that, where their Pop Warner program and stuff is different than what our little program is up here for Pop Warner. I've seen the reality shows based on the Pop Warners down there, where it's legit. It ain't what it is up here. You got a kid up here who's good. You got a parent who thinks their form of sports consulting is putting their kid on Instagram, his pictures of his Pop Warner game, and then throwing trashy ghetto songs and say, that's my son, look at him this week. And that's not the way to do it. There's a way to do this. There's a way to catch the eye of those, for prospects. And I'm going to let you guys continue to talk on that because it is something major. It is something that people need to take more seriously. You just can't throw an Instagram video up there and, there's rules that you can't break either. There's people you can't talk to. There's deals you can't make. And we've seen this. So I'm gonna let you guys speak on that.
Well, I'm Troy Pride, senior, and like my wife said, she and I are we're running the consulting business. And one of the things that I wanted to really fix is this. A lot of times you may be at work, you could be going through the grocery store, you could be doing whatever you do, and unbeknownst to you, you just walk by a Hall of Famer. But they did not get that shot. They were not in the right position. I consider myself a high-level player when I played in my days, but, because of the hype, because of certain entities that deterred me from getting there, I wanted to take my experience and put it into other kids, like some kids be in the wrong position. How can you be recruited if you're not even meeting the size requirements to be recruited? So I take some of the things that I had to go through and try to apply them to, making these kids and putting these kids in the best position to be recruited. And that's what we do actually. Go ahead.
Let people know your background, because I have people who come on the show and sometimes people don't know their backgrounds. Tell them your background and why you have this knowledge, sir.
Well, I've played all my life. As a kid, I played Pop Warner. We won the Bobby Dog Bowl. It was kind of funny when you said Pop Warner. I played college. I went to a junior college in Mississippi. I played at an HBCU, also Livingstone. But, I never had a backup plan. That's where my wife comes in. So me thinking that I'm going pro, at 5'7.5", I didn't know that it was politics that played in me fulfilling that desire. And I just felt the need. Like I said before, I played at the HBCU, and then I started coaching my kids as they got of age. I saw right off that they were talented, so I had to instill in them hard work and dedication. And they believed in me, and one made it to the NFL, and one made it to, just like we said, Chance. He played at North Carolina A&T for 4 years. He fell up under that, could have made it to the NFL, but his size wasn't the requirements that they were looking for. So we had a backup plan for him to get his degree in engineering, and that's what he did. But yeah, to make a long story short, I just, I want to give back to what, I've experienced. And I know these kids don't realize it, and the parents don't either. That's why we work with the parents and the kids. They say, oh, my son can do this and that, but your son is not the required size. And then when they get to their senior year in high school, no one's coming knocking on their door trying to recruit them because they're not in the right position. And also their grades are not up to par. So that's what we do. We empower the kids, the family, as a unit, to try to succeed.
And that's good, because it's not just about the kids. A lot of times we want the parents to be on board. And when you talk about background, Keith, so we both have an athletic background. I played basketball in high school. I really did. There wasn't a WNBA at the time, but me and all of my 5'4"ness, I really felt like I could make it. But anyway.
Yeah.
That's beside the point. But we do have, athletics in our background, and we don't just focus on football. We just happen to have 2 football players, but our athletes, they wrestled, they played basketball, they ran track, they did other things as well. But we just honed in on football because they ended up falling in love with those things. But we don't just target football players. We want to talk to that soccer player. We want to talk to that volleyball player who also may be undersized, because we also want people to understand that when you can get your education paid for, okay, it's more than just going to that professional level. When you can not have to come out of your pocket to pay anything because your kid gets a full ride, that's a win.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And so we want to educate the parents to understand that don't just say, hey, my baby's going to the league, I know he got it, but does he have the grades? Is he taking the right classes? Is she, a good student just to begin with, right? Because there are a lot of athletes that even get to that next level because of their talent, but they are not sound here. They are not sound when it comes to the classroom. They don't want to do any schoolwork. And for me, like my husband said, that's where I came in, because I knew his story. But when we had boys in particular, I told him, I said, if they don't get the grades, they will not play. There were times where I got calls from school and I said, they ain't going to practice, because if they can't act right in class, I don't care what's going on the field or on the track or wherever.
And one thing about it, Keith, it's a passion for us. This is not monetary. Of course, you want to get monetary for what you put in, but it's a passion. We've seen it over and over again, how kids, was very talented and they didn't get their grades right.
Right.
They were very talented. They didn't have they weren't in the right position. That's why I said at the beginning, sometimes we walk by Hall of Famers that just didn't get that opportunity because whether they were in the wrong position, whether their grades were not up to par. Those are the things that we look at and we want to try to correct.
And what about these there's another group of kids that you guys, I feel you should mention too. You've also got these kids that don't want to leave the street life, the thug life behind too. What do you do for them? Because that's a story, I tell everybody, hey, listen to Allen Iverson. Allen Iverson tells it best. He didn't leave that street life behind. Those dudes all rode his coattails. He almost went bankrupt because of trying to support people. Let them know the importance of getting away from this street life, because we still see it at the pro level. We still see these knuckleheads still linked to some of these people in the streets. Talk about the importance of getting away from that.
But I always say that that begins at home. That's why we can't leave the parents out, because it starts at home. So if a parent, I don't care how much your baby's balling, right? If you as a parent in the 8th grade says, if you don't get your stuff together and you don't do what you're supposed to do, you're not going to play. Because a lot of these, especially young men, and I feel like that's really like, the issue that we're speaking about here. But if you don't tell them that there's a real world out here, yeah, you can ball and yeah, you can play and yeah, you're good, but there's some other things that you got to do in order to be a responsible citizen. In order to be a responsible person. Because when we're talking about teams, right, it's not just you. It's not just you out there. What your actions affect so many others. Your actions affect those that you're playing with, your teammates, the coaches, the school, this, that, and the other. So I feel like once we get the parents on board, right, then, and when we're trying to get these kids at the 8th and 9th grade level, we don't want them when they're juniors and seniors. It's not that we can't help them, even though, like I've said on other podcasts, that, those grades and stuff can't be undone. If you're on the wrong track, that's a hard thing to make up, right? So we want to get them early and we want to educate the parents. We want to see even where the parents are, because, the thing when I've done this, you want to invest in getting sports consulting, but will you invest in a tutor?
Right.
I'm not going to take your money to try to get your kid to the next level if you won't invest in making sure that your son or your daughter is in math. So I think it starts there. My dad used to always say, everything starts at home. So when you talk about kids out here being knuckleheads, yeah, you get to a certain point where, they feel like they're an adult and they can't do anything. But a lot of times they've been a knucklehead. That ain't just started. You know what I mean? So I got my boys together real quick when I started saying, oh, if your teacher calls me and tell me you're standing on the desk, guess what? There's no football practice today.
And Keith, I'm going to be honest with you. What we do is really educate the whole, the parents too. Like for me,
right, yeah.
If you're a father and really you work a lot and you really don't know that much about the sport, you may not have played it. I like to educate you and show you certain things that you look out for so you can go over when we're not there, or your kids' coaches and there. You can go over that with them. You can have that communication with them. And that builds something between father and son if the father's around. So we don't just we grab the whole family, whether it's a sister, whether it's a cousin, auntie, we want everyone to get involved in this particular talent that they have produced.
And it's the process. It doesn't just happen overnight. Like you talk about Pop Warner. So we in South Carolina, they don't have Pop Warner. They have Rec League, right? But you see I was so afraid when my oldest son, Troy Pride Jr., when he started playing football, I was just kind of like, oh, Lord, I don't know if I'm ready for this. But then when he got out there, I was afraid for the other kids. So I kind of knew. I was like, it's a switch that went on in this kid. Because Troy's kind of quiet. He's very humble. He's not real flashy. But he's so driven. So there was one particular instance that I want to share where Troy fumbled, right? Because Troy used to play everything in rec league, even in high school. He played both sides of the ball. But he fumbled. Was so mad. He got up, chased the dude down, and I think caused the dude to fumble. So it was like, from that was an epiphany for me. It was like, okay, this kid may have something. We always knew he was fast. But it was like, okay, he's got a little bit more, because I was not expecting that. I was expecting him to lay down and cry or whatever. But the fact that he was able to relax that quick was kind of like, is this my child? But then I started saying, that other parent better be afraid. I ain't afraid no more, because this boy, he's coming out here to bring it. So, from a young age, I share that story because so when they're 7, it's okay to start making sure that in 2nd grade, they're getting all A's. That's really okay.
And to answer your question, Keith, it takes a community, to get these kids, if they're, going the wrong way. Like I said, when you're involved with us, we kind of educate them along with who's ever else connected to them to try to get them on the right track.
And I like that because, I've been volunteering in Pop Warner for a very long time here in Brockton. We've done some big things here. We had Rob Gronkowski donate $45,000 worth of equipment to us. I was able to have Peyton Manning come out here one year and hold a private camp for the kids one year because he picked our website that I designed as the best in the nation for one year. And then Sean Alexander picked it for one year as the second best in the nation. So, we've had people come through. And the biggest thing, I just do the music and stuff and the announcing for the kids. But my biggest pet peeve about youth sports, I love the kids. I love going into a Walmart and seeing a kid that's now 22. I don't know who this kid is, but he's like, man, I remember you calling my name at the game, this and that. And they have that memory of me calling them when they was 8 in Pee Wee. I love all of that. The problem that I have with youth sports today is the parents. I'm just tired of the parents. My stepson plays. We went to his games last year, and we had visiting parents come in, and they had Hennessy drinks in Capri Sun Ziploc bags drinking, and I'm saying to myself, what kind of parent thinks that a kid's game is the time to get turned up? And this younger generation of parents, they aggravate me because it seems like that their parental focus is different than what my parents raised my parental focus on and off the field. And when you're at the end of the day, first of all, you sign a parental code of conduct. You go to watch your kid play. My other biggest pet peeve are the fathers who think they know everything. They never volunteer to coach, yet they up in the stands every game yelling this and yelling that and yelling this and yelling that. We've had issues in the nation where guys have been at AAU basketball games and pulling guns on coaches at games. What are your thoughts on that as a parent? What do we need to do with these parents who just have, and I know you guys have seen it too, they just have no other respect for the game, for the kids, and you're the biggest insult to your kids. I hate to say it.
Well, and you know what? So I'm gonna treat that question, almost twofold, right?
Okay.
Because we are passionate parents as well, right? So I can't lie. I done got almost kicked out of a little league game because of some bad calls. I mean, I'm gonna just be honest with you. So I do think, not the drinking, but I think some of it comes with passion. But in the same respect, Keith, my husband was that dude too that was up in the stands yelling. And you know what I told my husband? I said,
but he played.
No. He did play. And some of those guys play, but just because you play don't mean you can coach. But I told my husband that. I said, babe, you're talking too much. I said, why don't you start coaching? And guess what he did? He started coaching.
And we dominated too.
Well,
dominated. I should be in the NFL coaching, but I ain't got time.
No, but what I'm saying is, I get your frustration, and I think you have a valid point there, because some of this stuff really is ridiculous when you're talking about these kids being 7, 8, 9 in a lot of instances, and there's fights breaking out. People, these people aren't demonstrating self-control, but I do believe it's law of the lid. You live at the level that you're taught, right? So they really just probably come from these backgrounds, quote unquote hood, or quote unquote way too passionate, and really putting the cart before the horse, right? So when you see that talent at 7, 8, and 9, they automatically think, my baby going to the league. I need my baby to break out. I need this video to go viral or whatever, instead of saying, let me make sure that my son got A's and B's.
Well, let me
Right? Right? Like
let me kind of give a little bit of seasoning to this. First of all, the reason we see this is these outbursts or these fights, man, that's been going on because we've had that passion. Only reason we see it now is because of social media. I mean, I remember when I was playing Pop Warner, and there was always a guy that I would say his name, but I don't want to. His daddy was always lit up, and he was always, let's go. Unfortunately, during that time, it was not, it wasn't so aggressive like it is now.
Right.
But passion's always been there, and it's always caused little instances like that. For the most part, if you do the statistics, man, I think that, that's a small percentage of things going wrong at these games.
Oh, absolutely. Well, but I mean, I think you just said the same thing I said. It really is about the passion. So I don't want to undermine these parents being passionate, but I want to say that it could be put, in a different direction. It should be focused. It should be a little bit more focused. And I agree with you. It's being highlighted because we have these phones, right? Everybody's recording, so everybody sees it. And this, that, and the other. But I led with that we are passionate people because, like I said, when the refs are making bad calls and my baby out there putting his body on the wall, Mama, do I got something to say? So, you better hold it. Absolutely. So the passion, again, I'm not against the passion, but I think it needs to be redirected. I think when you see that your baby's got it, I think you have to have that meeting of the mind, or you have to have somebody that wings you in and says, well, okay, well, how's his grade? Now in second grade or third grade or in fourth grade, how's his grades? And so that may get you to shift and say, because I know he got talent. See, the talent will take you far, but if you don't have the character, you can't stay there.
First of all, Keith, I would say that it shouldn't be any drinking with these kids.
Yes, it's supposed to be, yeah.
So that's the start of fixing it. I mean, you asked us what can be done. I don't really know what can be done unless each individual hold themselves accountable for their actions. We're amongst kids. We're their role models. Yeah. So we should act accordingly. Everyone doesn't get it, and I understand it, but I don't really know, to be honest with you.
No, Pop Warner needs to hold them accountable. So just like you said, Keith, they signed a code of conduct. If I don't care who your baby is, I don't care if your baby scored every touchdown last season. If you come here and we prove that you're drinking or that you're out of control, then your son can't play next year. Go find somewhere else.
And you know what? Sometimes the problem is that everybody who's in Pop Warner, they're all volunteers. And sometimes, I hate to say it, you get scared. You don't want to confront that parent because you know what kind of person that parent may be. You know what I'm saying? So now you say, oh, man, I don't want to confront this dude. This dude's, he's already got warrants. And he's here at the field, So, it's some of that is there, and it plays into that there also. So it is, and you're right. It does fall on the parent's personal responsibility. I know here, they went to the board. They actually went to the board of the team that came and said, hey, if this happens again, it's going to be a forfeit.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's going to be a forfeit. Y'all are going to forfeit the game, and then you're going to have to explain to all these other parents who are behaving why your kid, why the team just forfeited you. So, it is one of those things that we have to look at. Tell out your business and tell them how they can find you guys and get in touch with you. Now, are you taking people from all over, or are you just taking people from the area you live in?
No. As I stated, Keith, we're taking people from all over because, again, we can do a consultation via Zoom. There's a lot of things that we ask for. We ask for a lot of paperwork. We ask for film. We ask for report cards. We ask for class. We require a lot. But that's also to help us weed out who's serious and who's not. If you can't get me the paperwork and you kind of forfeit your deposit at that point, and so then we can move on. But all over. If you contact us, you can get with us on Troy Senior. That's TROYSR at coachwithpride.com. So you can email and we can set up a consultation. and see if we're a good fit for you, because like I said, we're serious about what we do. I do the academic piece, my husband does the athletic piece, and that's about looking at film, that's about looking at position, that's about looking at report cards, looking at the classes that you're taking, where you are, and how you fit, and so we basically want to assess the entire situation, right, before we just say, hey, yeah, we can help you, because the help, a lot of people also misconstrue what we do. We make no promises that we're going to reach out to any coaches for you. This is a recruiting preparation, right? So if I get your son in the 8th grade, what we're hoping to do is build a relationship, right? Where we know you, we know your son. My son is not, my husband is not just looking at film trying to see how many touchdowns you score. He's looking at your body language. He's looking at how many penalties you're doing. He's looking at, what size you are and who's recruiting at that position for your size. So we do a lot of different things as far as what we do. We do have a lot to offer, but we want to build those relationships where we know that young man or that young lady from an early age, and we're not just coming in trying to guess or trying to, tell you, oh yeah, we're going to get you offers. We never promise anybody that we're going to get them an offer. But what we know, based on the formula that we've used and the formula that we've gotten kids recruited at, that it works. And that if you're in position, you're going to be seen. Somebody's going to see you. Somebody's going to find you. And, the other thing, Keith, the disclaimer is, so many parents are like, oh, we don't want D2. We know our son's a D1 athlete, this, that, and the other. But as I stated earlier, when you're talking about you not having to come out of your pocket for anything, that's a win. And if your son isn't, but you can make it, what do you say? You can make it from anywhere.
You can make it from anywhere. And one of our sayings is you shoot for the stars. If you land on the moon, you still high up. So whether it's Notre Dame or whether it's Johnson C. Smith or North Carolina A&T, if your talent shines, you can make it. And furthermore, a degree is just like making it.
It's a win.
Yeah.
It's a win. It's a win.
Yeah. So that's exactly what we do, Keith. We really
and see, a lot of parents aren't even thinking on that level based just on some of the clients that we've had. A lot of
until we educate them, man.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, initially, they're not thinking even on the college level. They're just thinking, oh, my baby's going to the NBA. My baby's going to the MLB. My baby is a freshman. My baby. No, but there's some things you got to do before your baby gets there. And so if you don't set them up for success, even from that middle to high school level, they'll get to that next level and fail.
Yeah.
They'll get to that next level and have to quit. They'll get to that next level and be on academic probation and can't even play. So we're trying to offset some of those things where your baby is prepared for whatever that next level is.
And one more thing too on that, Keith. It's like walking through a path that got branches and everything. What we try to do is just pull the branches so the path can be clear. These kids don't know that when you get to college, certain things gonna happen. We kind of experience some of the things that we can kind of let them know what they're gonna face so they don't get deterred and want to quit and leave. So it's a lot that goes on with what we do.
Absolutely.
But Troy Pride Senior on Facebook, Instagram, Precious Paul 25, Twitter, Precious Paul ST1. You can contact me, please. Holler at me if you need a question answered. I'd be more than glad to answer that question, build a relationship with you, and try to help you the best way we can.
Nice. And we're going to get into our news topics and stuff because they're going to hang on and talk about some stuff, and I can't wait to get to sports. And as you guys saw, I got my custom Plink hat on, only 1 of 25. Muhammad Ali.
Butterfly?
That's Muhammad Ali. Floats like a butterfly.
Okay.
Keith's into these. These are like he said.
Do you watch boxing? Are you a boxing fan?
Oh, yeah. I watch. Look, I'm from Brockton, Mass, home of Marvin Hagler, Rocky Marciano. So we watch boxing up here. And I actually put my order in Friday for my Pride hat because I seen the Pride hats. I went on the website and I seen the gray with the blue logo.
Oh yeah,
ordered it.
That's what's up. Matter of fact, Keith, we didn't plug that. Pride merch At Shopify.
Yes.
We were on Shopify. Yeah. So you can get our merch. You guys see us sporting the Pride gear. This is our family brand. It does happen to have our son, Troy Pride Jr., who's an NFL player. It does happen to have him on it. But this is our name, and we sport it proudly.
And actually, pride is a definition, but pride, there's a meaning behind it. Personal responsibility and daily excellence is what we stand for with this brand. So when you put this on, it's something that you got to be held accountable to.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the jump is rise above. So anything that you do, you got to rise above. Personal responsibility and daily excellence.
Absolutely.
This is why you guys got to get on Family Feud. Come out there with the pride shirts on, also on Family Feud. Steve Harvey.
We got the pride shoes, the pride everything.
So we're gonna get into the news booth, and I can't wait to get to sports because my man was talking about the HBCUs, and right now there is a division in the HBCUs over this whole Coach Prime thing. Because I've been following Coach Prime for the last 2 years. And we got to speak on this. So let me get into the news booth. News booth here in Massachusetts. Deer hunters can now donate venison to residents in need with the new program called the Hunters Share the Harvest program. So if hunters bag a couple of extra deer and they clean it up properly and stuff, you can now donate to this program, and they will provide venison, which is really healthy protein meat to families in need of meat. Now, for those who don't know, one deer can supply enough meat for a family for almost an entire winter. Also in the news booth, USA announces fusion energy breakthrough, but guess what? The military is going to get it first. We're not going to get it for a while. They're going to sweep this under the rug. Zero carbon. It's crazy. 3 bald eagles die, 10 sick after eating euthanized animals improperly disposed of in a landfill. Sad. They were scavenging the animals. These animals not dumped where they should have been. 3 bald eagles have died. 10 are sick. They don't know if the other 10 will survive. We'll see about that. I got a guest I'm working on to come on during February, Black History Month. The woman that you see in the picture here is Fawn Weaver. Fawn Weaver. Angela, when you first checked out my show, I actually talked about Fawn Weaver. Fawn Weaver has an uncle, a great uncle, Uncle Nearest. Her uncle was a slave for Jack Daniels whiskey. So what happened was that this man took this black slave who processed and created this whiskey, stole it, and pretty much stole the generational wealth from him. And Jack Daniels has been making a ton of money off of this recipe and off of this whiskey. Fawn Weaver, her great uncle, she was able to get this recipe. She found the recipe back. She has bottled it up. She started selling it earlier this year. As of this month, Fawn Weaver and the story of Uncle Nearest is officially crossed $100 million in sales of this whiskey. Think about that, people. In her first year, $100 million. So you think about the generational wealth that was stolen from Fawn Weaver's family because her uncle, who was a slave, designed that whiskey recipe for Jack Daniels that's been around forever. And when people talk about what has been stolen from us as a community, these are the type of stories that we need to talk about and share with people. And say, when you have white friends who are confused and say, well, how is this stolen from you? Right here, here's a great story of how generational wealth is stolen from us. So I'm working to have Fawn Weaver on the show. Angela, I know that you do a lot of stuff with women's empowerment and people, other women of black and strength, and love to get in touch with them. If I make that contact with her, I'll send her your way.
Oh, absolutely. You know what? That's so ironic, Keith, that you brought that up, though, today, because I seriously just saw the story and saw her talking about it, because I didn't know anything about Uncle Nearest, but I do follow a lot of Black products. And there was somebody on Instagram that was talking about Black brand liquors. Right. So I just happened to look it up and she told the story. Now, she didn't go into what you said, but I already knew that. Right. I already knew that Jack Daniels had been stolen from a slave, but I did not know it was Uncle Nearest. But she talked about her uncle more in this piece that I saw. But that's a powerful story, and even more powerful, like you said, the fact of the money, that was made, but also that was lost. You know what I mean? Like, that's some perspective. When you think about people, Jack Daniels is known for, I think, who is it, TGI Fridays? Everything in there, they have Jack Daniels. But Uncle Nearest was really the originator of it. And, I could go on and on and on, but no, absolutely. I definitely think that that's powerful, that she's doing this, and that it's, and again, people are responding as they should, but because again, we've done so much as a people, as you stated, and for things to be taken, for our ancestors to not have benefited or get some of those profits, that's very unfortunate. When I saw the story, but I really didn't know that you were gonna bring that up tonight. But I just like,
I've been following it, and when I heard she broke the 1 million mark, I reached right out to her PR people and said, I got to have her on the show for Black History Month, because I think that's something we talk about as a community, because 100 million in her first year is insane already, but it just goes to show you that generational wealth, though, that she lost. Absolutely. Over all the years that Jack Daniels has been around. And he didn't just create the recipe, he created the whole distilling process of how it comes out. So it wasn't just the recipe, he distilled it, he showed them how to do it. And it's just, it's crazy. I see, Troy, you want to add on to that?
Where's the legal retribution from recouping that lost income that Jack
added to the 400 acres?
Yeah. Shoot.
That's the real talk. Yeah, that's the real talk. Somebody got fired over that Chevy. Somebody got fired over at Chevy. Here's why. We'll pull it up on the screen. Here's the picture. Boom. Boom. You know what that is, people? That right there is the 2023 all-wheel drive Chevy Corvette E-Ray all-wheel drive. So it's electric and gas. And those who know electric vehicles, that torque is crazy. Someone at Chevy who leaked that on the internet. Hey.
They got fired because it got leaked?
Yeah, that's a photo of the test car. Those photos are not supposed to get out. and whoever leaked that photo, they in trouble. They in trouble. Let's get into the legal booth. Also talking about leaked documents from the DOJ says that the 300 members of the white militia Oath Keepers, get this, people, 300 members are current or former Department of Homeland Security employees. So if you guys remember, when January 6th happened, they had snipers in the tree line around the White House. They had snipers. A lot of those snipers were Oath Keepers. They're just militias. They're just harmless. Well, guess what? They're not harmless, people. 300 of those members are Department of Homeland Security, which means they've got military, federal training. This is scary. This is a story you want to keep your eyes on. I feel like there's something brewing. We talked about the electrical grid being shot at down your way in the Carolinas, up in North Carolina, and the woman who's being accused of it, she's ex-military. She was kicked out of the military for attending January 6th, but she shot up this substation because she didn't want a drag show to happen. So that's just sheer craziness. Also, Sam Bankman-Fried, he is the guy who started crypto, got it going. He is now being charged with defrauding crypto investors. FTX is crashing fast. This isn't good. They're now throwing out the word PONZI. They're talking about crypto now. So if you got your money in crypto, if you haven't gotten it out yet, you better get it out, because it's going bad. Also, everybody was talking about Brittany Griner. Brittany Griner arrived in the U.S. following the swap for Victor Bout. Victor Bout actually turned down in the trade by Trump and Paul Whelan years ago. John Bolton has said, and David Whelan, Paul Whelan's brother, he applauded the fact that they chose Brittany Griner first over his brother because he felt that she was the one that was held on a more BS charge. He's the twin brother. He was happy. He actually also blasted Trump. Trump said that, they didn't do this and they didn't do this to get him out. And like, yo, you had a chance to get my brother out and you even allow the deal. So stop it. Stop it. Hold on. Here we go.
Sit down.
Sit down. Sit down, all you people out there. Getting into the entertainment booth. Red Sky Studios expands in Foxborough. This is the studio that's involved with shooting a lot of the cable series around here in the area. As you guys know, there's like 9 different Netflix shows, 2 Showtime shows, and a movie that's been filmed around here so far the last couple of years. So we want to keep an eye out with that. Also, Janet Jackson. Hold on, let me just play this right. Here we go.
No, my first name ain't baby. It's Janet. Miss Jackson if you're nasty.
Janet Jackson presents Together Again, live across North America with special guest Ludacris. Get tickets Friday at livenation.com.
Janet Jackson, 33 shows next year. One of those is in Boston, May 19th at Xfinity Center. If I could show you a picture up here, years ago, my brother and I, we went to see Janet Jackson VIP. Renee Elizondo put us up in the front row. We've never missed a Janet Jackson concert. Janet Jackson is coming here on May 19th. I actually spoke with my brother. My brother's already got a meet and greet set up with him and Janet when she comes on May 19th. So again, Janet Jackson, Ludacris, she puts on a good-ass show every time she comes around. Now, here's another one again. We've been talking about black community and the hate that we do. Reebok and Cardi B. Cardi B just dropped the final part of her next-level collaboration with Reebok. These are specialty shoes with Reebok that Cardi B has released. She's got some slides. All of her shoes are affordable. They're at Journey. They're at, I forget the other sports store that's in there, Foot Lines or whatever. But they're all affordable shoes. They range from $40 to $50. What bothered me is the amount of hate of people in the black community. They're already bashing Reebok, number one. Number two, they're saying, oh, the shoes are ugly and this and that. And my problem is why is we as a community sometimes, when we should be praising people for doing the right things and keeping things affordable for us, here you are, people, they were buying $600 pairs of ugly-ass Yeezys months ago, but you're going to bash Cardi B, who I'm not, look, and Cardi B, I'm not a real 100% fan of her music. I like some of her music, but the thing that I like about Cardi B as a woman is that she constantly tells people how to budget and manage their money. I saw a Cardi B on Instagram one time. She was on tour in a hotel, and she was showing people the prices for room service, and she had Domino's pizza delivered. This is how you get your money. Because she said if she orders the room service thinking, oh yeah, the record company's paying for it, the record company's going to take that money out of her royalties. She got to pay everything back. So she was teaching people, this is what you do. One of the things that Cardi B did for her, I think her 30th birthday, most people go out there, you see these rappers, they buy this stupid-ass bling and all this other crazy stuff. Cardi B went out on her 30th birthday. Her and Offset, they went and bought an island in Bermuda. They bought an island, and they started construction on a hotel. That's how you invest your money, people. This is what you do. Now, she's got this deal with Reebok. She's, I think, 5 years in on this deal with Reebok. It's the hate. Why are we hating? First of all, I've seen a lot of men bashing her. Oh, the shoes are ugly. Why do we as men sometimes have a problem with supporting our black women being successful? We see it with Megan Thee Stallion. We see it with Cardi B. The guys are quick to just say, oh, they're this. Why is that? Angela, I'm gonna ask you first because you're a woman, and I know you've got to see it. You got to see it and feel it for yourself sometimes.
Well, but in all honesty, though, Keith, I'm a Cardi B fan. Like I've been with Cardi B since she was on Love and Hip Hop. I love me some Ratchet TV too sometimes. But but no, You know what? I don't know, Keith. I think though, Cardi's the type of person that she's gonna keep getting that bag. She's gonna keep getting her money, and like you said, she is, from coming from a positive standpoint as far as like her family, her kids. That's families first. Even when in one of the songs that she has, she said, "I got a bag and fix my teeth," and she said, "I pay my mama bills." Those types of things. So she's doing the right thing. I actually like the shoes. The shoes are different. They're unique, but that's what have you ever seen these Balenciagos and other, like you said, the Yeezys and whatnot? So I think they're supposed to be unique. They're supposed to be different. I'm wondering who these people are. I mean, I don't follow a whole lot of news though, so I'm glad you brought this up because I didn't know nobody was bashing her because Cardi B's got a heck of a following as well. So I think just as many people, I think those people, as like my husband said, they're really the minority. You know what I'm saying? They just, the negativity is always loud, right?
Yes, it is. Yes.
It always gets pushed to the forefront. But there's quite a few people that have been waiting on those shoes to come out that are going to buy them. And like you said, they're affordable. They're not $200. So, why not support? I can't answer the question as to why people hate. I can't answer the question as to why men. But I will say, like, my husband seriously just said like a couple of days ago, he was like, because he was like, Cardi B can't rap.
Don't put that out there. No.
But what he said the other day, he was like, but I actually like Cardi B. She be sounding good. I'm like, and I ain't even saying that because I want to be like, I've been on it. But anyway.
Well, but he supports you. You support your wife, and you have no problem showing that on social media that you support your wife. But there are some black men that they can't support black women, and that's crazy. I'll let you speak.
Well, I think it's been designed like that. Men right now could possibly be jealous because if you go back 10, maybe 20 years ago, the design was in place where women start becoming equality or equal to men. Not saying that they're not, but just imagine being a man and your design is to provide, your design is to take care of, and then you have a woman that's now taking care of you. It don't sit well with the ego. And I'm just being honest, I'm just putting it out there. So I think as things has changed for women, men now will look back because I've heard women say, I don't need a man. Well, it's been proven that they don't. They I don't want to get into the women. I don't want to get into women.
Right, that's a whole nother show. That's a whole nother show.
But what I'm saying to you is that I think that it's designed for us to. I mean, it's natural for us to say, man, how is she making more than men? I just lift this whole rack, and she saw me lift it. I mean, just an example. And she's making what I'm making. I know she can't lift this. So they kind of will hate. It's natural, I think.
Okay, we're going.
The design is in effect.
I mean, I'm not hating on her. But I seen the hate and I was like confused at it. It bothers me. Also, Mariah Carey getting that bag, yo. In 1 week, the re-release of All I Want for Christmas. She is number 1 on Spotify. She is number 1 on the Billboard. This girl, Mariah Carey, is going to get that bag every Christmas for the rest of her life. Now, she brought her 11-year-old daughter out to perform the song with her in Toronto, and they said, I've got the numbers here. December to January, Mariah Carey makes $2.4 million a year off that one. That's not counting all of her other songs in the library. This is what she makes off this one song from December 1st, January 1st. Think about that, people. That is, that's it. Oh, what happened? You guys flipped on me. That's insane. Elden Ring, Game of the Year at the Game Awards, well deserved. I don't know how many times I took my controller, put the controller down, and was so upset at this game, Elden Ring. This game is tough. It's hard. It was well worth the $50 that people spent on it. I'm still trying to beat this game and get into it, but it won Game of the Year. I'm pretty happy about it. In the sports booth, Call of Duty is coming here for the championships, one of the rounds in February. Here's the clip of Call of Duty. As you guys know, Bob Kraft bought a Call of Duty team, Overwatch team, and a Fortnite team But next year, we will be here. Here's the Boston Breach promo for Call of Duty Championships League Match 2. Here we go.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Let's start the Major 2 off right.
Major 2.
Right, Major 2. February, and we're going to get into the sports booth right now, because I know these guys, they got to get ready to get out of here, but we got to talk about a couple of topics with these guys before they go. Celtics fall to the Warriors and Clippers on the West Coast. We're missing Rob Williams, and we're missing Al Horford. Two big defensive players tonight. Taking on the Lakers, people. Taking on them Lakers. We got a Troy coming. The Lakers fan? Oh, you're muted. You're muted. You got to unmute. There you go.
Yeah.
I see you smiling about them Lakers, huh?
Oh yeah. I'm a Laker. She's a Celtic. You know, the thing about it is, my oldest son is a Laker. My youngest son is a Celtic.
Oh.
So, house divided. Yeah. But, you know, I always ask her, if the world was to end today, who was the last one to win a championship between the Celtics and the Lakers? And I think that she knows the answer, but she never tells me. So, yeah, man, it's pretty cool, you know, being on top.
We got people in the chat right now. Gary Key says, yo, the Lakers are going down. We're not losing 3 in a row. That's what Gary Key said tonight.
Yeah, I'm with you, Gary. We shouldn't. Hold on, wait a minute. He talking about the Lakers are going to lose.
No, yeah.
Oh, man, you might as well get ready to chalk it up as 4 in a row.
and before we let you guys go, I got to get into this topic here towards the end of this. Patriots win 27-13. They now are in tune of a possible playoff spot. Also, the Tom Brady made history this weekend. Wasn't good history, though. Tom Brady was getting his butt blown out 35-0. Look, the Niners was whooping that butt with a Mr. Irrelevant, the final pick of the draft, Tyler Purdy. They whooped up on him. Guess what happened? Fox switched off the Tampa Bay game and put the Seahawks game on. That has never happened in Tom Brady's career. But before we let these guys go here, we're at 8:05. HBCUs. I've been following Coach Prime, and, you know, I love what he did down there in Jackson State, Mississippi. You know, he brought attention. He brought networks. They now have HBCU Go, which is an app from Byron Allen. So you can watch all the HBCU games, not just football, but basketball, all the sports that they have to offer. ESPN locked into a deal to broadcast HBCU games. And a lot of it's because of Pride. But the problem that we have right now is that we're divided. There are a lot of people who are mad at Pride because he took this job with the Colorado Buffaloes. And I said to people, well, it's if you coach at Roxbury Community College and then you get asked to go coach BC, guess where you're going? Going to BC. If you're coaching BC and you get asked to coach the Celtics, where are you going to go? You're going to go up. We should be applauding people who move up. Like I said in the show last week, our biggest complaint is that we don't have any black coaches in the NFL. Well, Deion Sanders is making that move to get into the NFL. And, you know, what I didn't like was a lot of the hate towards Deion Sanders and the HBCUs. Now, I saw this incident, the You Ain't Swag incident with him and Eddie Robinson. He played Alabama State, and he was upset. I was mad at Eddie Robinson. Eddie Robinson was upset because he felt that he came in and he flexed on his stadium and this and that and all. But look, you weren't selling out your games prior to Deion coming there. He came there, he sold out the stadium. Show some love, show some respect. Let's all get this money. Let's all make this money. And I get it. Deion is gone. But guess what? Somebody now in the HBCUs, you got to step up and continue what Deion started. Don't sit here, be mad, and wallow in the fact that he's gone and bash him and say all this bad stuff. Keep it going. Keep the momentum going. Somebody, you're from an HBCU. What would you say to keep this momentum going, Troy?
Support. I mean,
no, but so you.
Whoa.
Wait a minute, though. You don't say support. What you mean support? Like so.
I mean to keep this momentum going, right? That was his question.
No, but again, he gave some background. So
I can deal with the background.
Robinson he was out.
No, but we ain't talking about Robinson. You ask that question again.
Well, so first of all, let's talk about the Eddie Robinson thing because I wasn't happy with the fact. I'll let you both talk. I'll let you go because you're involved with that, Troy. I'm gonna let you speak on Eddie Robinson and his actions that day.
Okay, I think he was out of order. He was out of order. I don't really know what his problem was with
I'll tell you what his problem was.
What was his problem?
It was home. So they invited Deion them for homecoming.
Right.
So, but you invite people for homecoming that you about to just bury.
Yeah.
Deion basically flipped the tables on him
and bust his head off.
Exactly.
Right.
He was in his feelings.
Right. He needed,
and then he didn't want to. She was like, I ain't know him before this.
Yeah.
So I ain't gonna shake his hand. So he didn't shake his hand. But it was like Deion was like, man, whatever.
Right. So I think that Tom Jackson would have beat him like that, and he wouldn't. Wait a minute now. Would have beat him like that, and he wouldn't have said a word. But because it was Deion, he was wrong. I think. And
because Deion was getting all the clout, Deion was doing all the. It's like these guys are in the SWAC or they're in an HBCU and they're really just complacent. So Deion obviously come in, he's prime, right? He's prime time, so he come in, he get a little shine or whatever. But instead of giving respect where respect is due, or maybe even trying to get on the wagon or trying to get some of that to rub off on you and your team, he was basically salty.
Well, let me jump on the other side now. If I'm a coach and I get beat, I don't want to shake your hand either.
Yeah, but it's the right thing to do. So come
on.
Whatever.
Who says that? I've never wanted to shake my hand.
I know, but
Tom Jackson taught you that.
But you have to
the Thomas show. Yes, sir. No. Get on. I get with you in about a day or two, and we can talk.
That's not how.
I know how that's. But what I'm saying to you is, I really don't want to talk to you. Now, if you give me some type of flavor for me to say, get on out my face.
But hold on.
If you give me that flavor, I'm going to say it.
But it really wasn't even about shaking hands. Deion really kind of went in for the bro hug, is what he did. So he was nah.
Right. Yeah. And that's warranted.
He
didn't have to do that.
He was salty.
Yeah, I would be saying he could have been. Why was he salty?
He was salty because he got drugged.
All right, he got beat. So when you get beat, hey, yeah. No, you ain't gonna be happy. I made him cry. That's part of being a competitor.
He should have shook his hand though.
Well,
and he should have got.
The second part of the question is, what does the HBCU have to do to keep this going? Not like you said it. You said the point that I was saying. They got HBCUs were complacent. They weren't doing all this stuff because the HBCUs could have just did what Pride did for them right now. But like you said, Angela, they was complacent where they were. They was complacent with making all this money that they were making. But now that they see that they can make more, and he was about to speak on it, your husband was about to speak on it, you said the first thing they need is support. So on top of that support, what else do they need to keep this momentum going? Because all eyes are on them.
Well, let me say this to you. Even before Deion, there was a momentum going with the school that my son attended.
That was me at.
Right. It doesn't matter. It's a conference.
But no, they're separate though.
I understand that they're separate, but they're HBCUs.
Yeah. And we were primed to be the pinnacle. We were at the pinnacle.
We were at the pinnacle. But what I'm saying, what I'm about to say to Keith and the audience is that when you up close like I am, you see some of the deficiencies, not by the teams, but the entities that's over. Like if Nike's paying for the uniforms. For some reason, we don't manage stuff right. And I'm just going to be honest, we don't manage stuff right. And when Dion came, this was an opportunity to clean up some of that unmanagement that they do. Like if kids get Nike, they got a whole Nike responsible. Hey, like my son that went to Notre Dame, he got cleats when he needed. He got sweatpants when he needed. It was a Class A set, a Class A setup. So if North Carolina, or I don't want to keep saying the school, but if an HBCU school is sponsored by a certain team, don't get. I can't.
But we already know that it don't work like that because the money's not the same. So the money that goes
demanded.
But you can't do that though because you're not making the same money. You're not bringing the same money to the table as well. So when you talk about what Keith just said, that Robinson really wasn't selling out stadiums and he wasn't really doing too much or whatever. So those things matter, right? So before you can go to Nike trying to strong arm them and say, hey, we need this, we want this, you've got to show them that their investment, because it's business at that point.
They won the championship 3 out of 4 years. What other team that can you not?
Are you talking about?
I'm talking about.
Are you talking about?
I'm talking about the MEAC.
Right.
If you won it 3 out of 4 years.
Yeah, but what they get for that 3 out of 4 years is not necessarily an endorsement. First off, they got somebody that's paying for the Celebration Bowl. They get $1 million for winning it. So it's what they do with that money though that people don't see or don't know, and it may be being mismanaged. I'm not saying that. I'm not suggesting that, but that pales in comparison to a school that is a Power 5 school that might be in the Pac-12. That may be getting $20 million.
Okay, so when I made the comment about Notre Dame, okay, I hear you on that part. But what I want to say to you, Keith, is this.
I'm gonna have to let y'all go because I got another.
That's fine too, and I got some things I gotta do.
Sound like they talking about
so
Keith. I want to keep talking about this though.
Yeah, I might give you one more story.
How did you get in touch with us at the end?
Coach Pride. Anyway, I hope that there was a blueprint before Dion left, where, of course, his school became pretty well off. They got sponsorship, they got a lot of different things, but it won't make a difference if the whole conference doesn't do well, or if he didn't give other coaches or other programs the blueprint to do well. It'll just be one school and the rest of them will fall. So I hope that is what took place before he departed, but that's what has to be done. You gotta bring up the other conferences and make sure that they're okay too, or they have to follow suit on what you did if they can.
And you make a great point. Like I said, they now have a network for all their games to now be seen. So, one of the things that Dion did do, he brought that social media aspect in, and they started working at social media right away. They brought you into their practices. They brought you into after their practices. So people were building this relationship with this team. He started bringing players from all over. He signed up with Brady Brand and got the Brady Brand clothing line down there. And now he's bringing that to Colorado. But like you said, he's already put this blueprint in place for the HBC. So it's going to be up to them to keep that going.
Let me ask you this. So when you say he done all of these things, what about the other schools? Because I understand Prime name goes far. Now, I hear you. He done a lot of different things. What about the other schools, though? It's my concern.
They got to keep it going. They got to keep it going, like you said. The blueprint's there.
No, they don't have Prime at their university or their college. So how would they be able to negotiate or even, poke their chest out at these sponsors and whatnot? That's what I'm saying. I'm like, I understand what Dion did, but I hope that he left and they will support the other schools as well.
Well, you know what? This is where the thing comes in with, there's a lot of ex-football guys out there who are looking for things to do. And there are some guys out there, hey, if you think you can come in and keep what he got going on, it might be. I know some guys up here in New England who play for the Patriots, and you know what? Hey, you talk well. You could be a coach, man. You ever think about going down to some of these and keeping that trend going? Because you're right, that Pride name does, and that was one of Eddie Robinson's problems. Eddie Robinson was upset that, Coach Pride came into that homecoming game and everybody was like, oh, NFL's here, primetime's here, and everybody was showing him all that love at his homecoming. He wasn't happy about that, but at the end of the day, he still had to understand that, damn, I can't hate on him. I gotta build on this. Because even though Eddie Robinson got bad press for what he did to him, I felt like, well, Eddie, here's your moment to build on this and change that now for Alabama State. Now, next year, a lot of people are going to be looking at you because you got into this whole thing with Prime. So it's up to Eddie now, because everybody remembers Eddie Robinson and you ain't SWAC. That attention's going to be on him next season. Let's build on it. Because, we talked about the rivalry. People learned about the rivalries in the HBCUs. We learned that Jackson State and Southern are rivals. We heard about all this stuff. People learned. They got educated. I had somebody, they were like, oh, I didn't even know all this about the black colleges. I'm like, what do you mean you didn't know this about black colleges? One dude said to me he didn't even know it existed like that. I'm like, man, that aggravated me. That pissed me off. I'm like, man, you ever heard of Grambling and all these other schools down there?
They haven't, because it hadn't been publicized enough.
Well, see, my dad, when I grew up, my dad and all of my uncles, they was all drum and bugle kids growing up. So my dad dragged me to a lot of these Battle of the Bands, drum and bugle corps battles, and then they used to travel. These bands would come around here, New England, the Grambling, all them weeks. So my dad used to make sure we seen this. And I was, I wanted to go to a black college because I was like, man, they came in with the attitude. They came in with everything, That was really all black colleges was known for, was the Battle of the Bands. Nobody even really thought about, the football games and stuff. Now it's here. It's in our face. And they got to keep it going. And I feel like the ball is in Eddie Robinson's court. Keep this going. Yeah. That's kind of how I feel with that. We're at 8:18. All right. Anything you want to add to that? I get into my.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
Well, no. You're right. I concur with you. When Eddie, he got the camera on him. He got the, hey man. So he should add to that. He should do something, because he, like I said, he got the camera on him now. So this is a good opportunity for him to make a splash now. So
and bring that money to his school, because they went up against each other this year, and it was, like I said, it was a big deal. And a lot of these schools, they got this ESPN contract now. So the schools got to step up and promote. That's the other thing. Yeah. The schools got to promote. The schools got to get it out there. They got to push it on social media, because to be honest, I was seeing all this Jackson State stuff on my timeline on social media, but I wasn't seeing the schools that it was going up against. And I felt like, damn, why ain't I seeing who they're going up against? Right. Why aren't these schools promoting this too? Why aren't they jumping on this bag? I felt like they were dropping. Southern did. I give Southern credit, because Southern was promoting it. Southern was coming up on my timeline, so they knew what they was doing. But a lot of these other HBCUs, they weren't doing it. And that kind of bothered me. But yeah, we'll keep our eyes on it. We get ready to get out of here. I'm going to let you say goodbyes, but I got to close out the show with my Biden bombshells. Keystone pipeline leak. 600,000 gallons of crude in Kansas. They have no reason for the leak yet. This was why this line was closed down, people. You get a lot of people talking about gas prices and all this stuff. This was why this line was ordered to be closed, because of this. Down in Georgia, final. Raphael Warnock won. He beat Herschel Walker down in Georgia. Lauren Boebert won her election on the recount in Colorado. And here's the thing. Everybody's going to claim that the election was fixed because Warnock won, but they're not going to claim that Boebert. You're not going to see the Republicans do that, which is hilarious. Also, before we went on the air, breaking news. Joe Biden signed the bill protecting same-sex and interracial marriage. It is the Respect for Marriage Act. There were rumors that they were going to repeal the bills that were there for interracial marriages and things of that sort. So signed that bill. Ukraine invasion. Shipment of Patriot missiles are on the way to Ukraine for the U.S. And that's it. We got all my people who purchased my hats and beanies. There they are right there for you guys. Check them out. Thank you for supporting my stuff. All the shows that I produce are right here. Make sure you check them out. Actually, at 8:30, Triple Threat Tuesday, Natty C Sports for You and Me, Happy Hour with Lito. Also, all bet buses are free in Brockton until December 31st. All buses are free. Also, thank you to everybody who came out and saw my artist, Viana Marie, tear it down at Very Boomstar Christmas. She killed it. Christmas songs and hosted the show. It was a good turnout. I want to thank everybody for coming out. Also, tomorrow night, we will be at the Boston Music Awards. Me and my artist, Viana Marie, in there to support Brockton's Destiny Claymore for running R&B Artist of the Year. I almost said running back for some reason. Elion Virtuoso, Latin Artist of the Year. And my guy, Scott Sandonato, who did Viana Marie's music video, Let's Roll. He's nominated. Mox Army Book Drive is going on till December 20th. Donate books for the military. They'll ship them right out. Also, we got Unity Hope Fundraiser on December 21st. Viana Marie will be performing that day. Thank you again, everybody, for coming on the show, hanging out with us. My guests that were on with me tonight were the Prides. Angela was on with me. Her husband was here. Shout out how they can follow you again, man.
You can follow me on all the platforms, Instagram, Facebook, Troy Pride Senior on Facebook, Precious Paul 25 on Instagram, and Precious Paul ST1 on Twitter.
Nice. And you actually did I see you do a sports podcast? You and the wife or somebody? You guys do a sports podcast?
We have that too.
Shout that out, man. Shout it out and let them know what you talk about on there. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah. Well, we revising it now, so we kind of doing some maintenance on it before we come back out. But yeah, we got a sports CWP podcast that we normally do also.
Nice. And so you watching football? Who you like before we get out of here real quick? Who you like in these playoffs coming up?
One thing I want to tell you, and I want to say I apologize because I said something about. I didn't get a chance to see your hat well. I see it now. And you say that's Muhammad Ali. Man, that is on fire right there. That's nice. Who does that?
This is a hat from Plink Art is a company. What they do is they create hats and they make them limited. They only make 25 hats, 25 to 50 hats. So you pay about $40 for this hat. But it's like 1 of 25. I'll send you a link because you become a member of the club. It's like, I don't smoke, I don't drink. It's like being in like that whiskey club and you can get the whiskey of the month. They do custom hats of the month and it's embroidered. Nice and thick. It's all stitched.
Yeah, that's nice. Hat too on the way. Oh my God!
I can't wait. I'll put if the hat comes this week, I'll have it on my show next week because next week's show is my last show of the year, and then I take 2 weeks off. So I'll be rocking it the next week's show. I'm only rocking this because this only comes out on special occasions, and I'm wearing this tomorrow night to the Boston Music.
Good deal.
Float like a butterfly, Muhammad Ali. And they had a sting like a bee. They had the Muhammad Ali with the bee wings, and I procrastinated, and I didn't get in on it. And it was only 25, and I wish I did. Every time I put this on, I get mad because I wish I did. I got to thank you and the wife for coming on. But again, who you like in football playoffs coming up? Who's your picks?
It's only one team. Anybody that likes the Lakers likes the Cowboys. 90% of the people that like the Lakers like the Cowboys. So I'm a big time. If you cut me open right now, you're going to see silver and blue bleed. So, yeah, I'm a Cowboy.
Aren't you worried about the playoffs, though? They do this to you every year.
You got to understand, Keith, it's time. It's time. So, hey, man, I'm fired up. I'm excited. I got my jacket. I got everything ready to go. Yeah.
Well, we'll see. We'll see because I know what Dallas does every year to you fans, man. My heart bleeds for you every December and January. So
I'll take that across the chin.
And my son's an Eagles fan. So my son he's flying high right now. My son's a huge Eagles fan. So He's real happy. So we'll see what happens because they got a tough game this week too. So, people, I got to thank you for tuning in the show. I got to thank my guests, Angela and Troy Pride, for coming on. I want to thank for those who purchased the beanies. And as I said, 8:30, Matty C Sports for You and Me is coming up. Check him out. Happy Hour with Lito. And SpongeBob, do me a favor, SpongeBob. You got 1 week left of the year. Please, safely, take us home, SpongeBob. Here we go.
Well, see you next Tuesday.
Thank you for listening to The Booth on Hoobazoo and HatcherRadio.com. Please follow the Facebook page and subscribe to the podcast at Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. The Booth is a Sinister One production hosted by Sinister One.
I've got to start hanging out with friends that are a little more intelligent and understand politics and stuff. It's just that I'm up on this level up here, and all my friends are down here. Me, nah. You guys, nah. Maybe a little more down in here. Screw you guys, I'm going home.
I smoke, I drink, I do my thing. These bitches hating, so you know I got to make it plain. Don't do cocaine, but your chick, my main. We stick together, true forever, yeah, you know we bang. I miss those days, which was easy. If only I made it, this on repeat. Now that I done upgraded, I've been upstate, but y'all think I'm playing. And I got a hit now for these weak ass hoes who think I ain't slaying. Try me, and I'll probably end up laughing, cause I never back down. I'm that chick with a clean ass whip, I don't need that shit, I got my own now. I get hard, I get tired of fussing, fighting, guess I gotta crack down. Don't mess with me, cause on everything, I'ma have to bring the whole city out.
WHOOBAZOO, that's Hoobazoo.com.
Enter your website.